Marxism good or bad? Like, let's be really clear, we're going to convince you that Marxism is bad. But they have a burden of proof in this ground to say that a world in which Marxism exists is better than the status quo. They've done absolutely no analysis thus far about what problems exist in the status quo and how actually having Marxism is going to solve them. Given they've given us no analysis of that so far, I'm excited to see how the DPM deals with them. That said, before I go to my side of the case, I have really one rebuttal. It comes from really everything that the PM says is that greed is bad. He doesn't give us any inherent reason for this, but I want to tell you why greed is good. Coming from an example, coming exactly from the PM, which is the space race. But like, the space race did not happen because everyone pooled their resources together. The space race was a race in which it was the US versus, ironically for your side of the house, the USSR, which was the communist state, which failed and lost. The only reason that the US was able to so successfully beat out the USSR is because there was such efficient trading of resources, competition against other states, which motivated them to win because of their own greed. Yes, greed is good. They do not get that on their side of the house, and that's the only argument they've given us so far. They need to do a whole lot more work in there. That said, I have two questions in this debate. Firstly, specifically, in what way has Marxism actually declined? And secondly, is Marxism bad? Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. So, firstly, specifically, how has Marxism declined? Because this debate itself is proof that Marxism isn't gone. Like, we are talking about Marxism. People in economics classes talk about Marxism. So to some degree it exists. The difference is, in the public sphere, you are not allowed to refer to Marx as a dialogue, or as an ideologue, because Marxists are considered bad, because they're dumb and they're wrong. So that means that the ideas, insofar as you believe that some degree of equality is good, still exist on our side of the house. See the fact that we have a progressive income tax, that we are considering having some degree of a wealth tax and an inheritance tax. So to some degree, like, if you do believe that we need some degree of redistribution of wealth, we already have that on the side of the house. But specifically the way that it has declined has two important benefits. First, we avoid revolution. This is something really completely dropped on their side of the house. Like a quote, like the last line of the Communist Manifesto is, "Workers unite, they have nothing to lose but their chains." It's an explicit call to revolution. We think revolution is violent and bad, and if they have to say that that's what they're defending on their side of the house, we need to do a lot more about that. But secondly, even if you believe that Marxism is good, we tell you that it is better to have those ideas without an ideologue. Because it means that you're debating them based on the merits of the issues, rather than being able to refer to someone like Ayn Rand, Adam Smith, and just say, Adam Smith is always right. You know, the invisible hand is always right, without actually engaging with what those concepts actually mean. So that means that even if you believe that Marxism is good, and even if you believe that that's the relevant question in this debate, we still win because we have better discourse about that Marxism on our side of the house. Second question, is Marxism bad? Yes. So we don't really get a very good description coming out of PM. They generally understand that this is about equality, but I want to tell you the two things that Marx actually explicitly says. He says first that the capitalist system is rigged from the beginning because there is an unequal distribution of the means of production. What he means by that is land. He says that because some people are born with land and other people are not born with land, the state must take control of that land, of the factories, of the capital, and redistribute it equally to everyone. Secondly, Marx tells you that there is a necessity to decrease the inequality that exists between the proletariat and the bourgeois. So not only does it mean that we have to get rid of inequality to some degree, we have to get rid of those class distinctions inherently. I'm going to tell you why both of those are really, really bad. So firstly, when Marx talks about redistributing land and factories and fixed capital, we tell you that this is bad, right? So, inherently it's bad because, you are giving way too much power to the state, and you're saying that, the state is going to be able to redistribute the capital. But we're going to give you four very specific arguments about why this is the case. So, first, we can tell you that it is fundamentally unjust to steal land from the people that have worked harder to earn it. They give us no reason on their side of the house why these people don't deserve the means of production, why they haven't worked hard to get this money, why inequality isn't something that they deserve, and that's something that they have to do, why that's the role of the state. But secondly, we tell you that the government has no accountability to the bottom line to efficiently redistribute these factories and this land. But the government is going to continue being the government pretty much no matter what. If they made bad business decisions, they're not going to fail. They're going to continue being a state unless you have a revolution, which means that they have no incentive to actually allocate this land well. Thirdly, we tell you that it necessitates a bureaucracy on their side of the house. But like, in order to administer this redistribution, you need a very expensive and inefficient use of human beings to actually figure out how it's going to be redistributed, rather than on our side of the house, the market doing this by itself. But fourthly, we tell you that the appointments to all government officials are not based on merit, but rather on political favors, because the political system functions by reciprocity of people saying, oh, if you vote for me, I'll vote for you. If you appoint me to this position, later I will appoint you to this position. That's how the political function works, not how the economic function works. Therefore, it is necessitated that this will work badly. Secondly, we tell you that inequality is necessary to some extent. Like, on their side of the house, they tell you that inequality is bad. But like, we don't have 100% inequality, so they have to tell us what the right amount of inequality is. But it's extremely problematic for them, insofar as, oh, before I move on, question, please, POI, you have 3 seconds, please. Alright, anyways, so, why inequality is important to some degree? They have given us no meaningful distinctions why this is different from Russia, Chile, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Eastern Europe, Cuba, and China, all of which have tried to have this system and failed. And inequality always makes these fail. Like, they say these countries happen to do it wrong. But insofar as we have like 15 examples of people trying and failing, and no examples of people trying and it's succeeding, they lose unless they're able to say why it's meaningfully distinct on their side of the house. Because we have concrete examples, no matter how convincing they are. This is one of the few types of debate that we have empiricism and data that tells us that in fact it doesn't work. But let me give you arguments as well. 3 reasons why it's incredibly important for inequality. First, it's necessary to motivate people to get higher skills and higher education. Second, it's necessary for some people to have an excess of money so that they can invest in very high quality and expensive projects like railroads. But thirdly, that you get a bigger economy on the whole. We tell you that in Russia, where the upper middle class have to wait in line for food, and in America, where the poor, the people with the least amount of money, have televisions, that is the kind of inequality that we are proud to support. And that makes us proud to oppose.